Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I'd like to begin by introducing you to a man named Patrick Reynolds. 2 generations previous, his grandfather founded a humongous tobacco organization, which has profited immensely in America. Years down the road, his father would die from tobacco-related diseases. And due to this, he was inspired to, in 1989, found a foundation for a Smokefree America, whose mission is to motivate youth to stay tobacco-free and empower smokers to quit. Now, we humans are fragile creatures. To be honest, we're all going to die eventually. It's the nature of things. Death isn't everything. However, death by tobacco isn't. And this is what our campaign is going to focus on.
Hello everyone, I'm Caitlin Sweeney, and I'm going to talk to you first about the situation. Okay, how many of you know how many smokers, when smokers originally began smoking? Does anyone know that statistic?
Any guesses?
Anyone? Yeah?
14 years old.
Well, that's pretty low. It's a possibility. Anyone else have any ideas?
Around 16.
Good guess. Anyone else?
13.
All fairly reasonable guesses.
All right. Well, actually, all of you are right, because 9 out of 10 smokers do start before the age of 18. Every day in the United States, 3,900 smokers try their first cigarette, and out of 950 of those, they become regular smokers. So I need 4 volunteers. I'm not going to ask you to smoke, I promise. I just need you to raise your hand if you're feeling like you're a little bit cool or risky or rebellious. Anyone? All you have to do is raise your hand, I swear. It's just a metaphor. Okay. So there's 4 of you. So let's say that all 4 of you had just tried your first cigarette. Out of the 4 of you, 1 of you will become addicted and continue smoking for the rest of your life. The problem that we see in this is while the youth smoking trends have decreased from 48% in 1968, they are currently 11% for 2011. And while that is a dramatic decrease from past generations, it's still a significant problem in today's society. Moving on to our objectives. We plan to persuade young smokers who have recently started smoking, not who have been smoking for years, months, who have recently started smoking, to persuade them to quit before it's too late and too difficult to quit easily. Another objective is to promote the Foundation for a Smokefree America, obviously, and we will be using motivational tactics as opposed to informational, meaning we will be persuading our audiences to quit rather than just saying that it's bad for them. Specifically for our audiences, we will target the ages of 15 to 21 of the youth in the United States, strictly in Playa del Rey, California, which is where the headquarters of our foundation, the Foundation for Smokefree America, that's where its headquarters is. So we are doing a pilot study originally in that city to see the success of our campaign, and then from there on, we will determine where to go from there. And we are targeting 15 to 21 because that is the age range that we found that most people begin to smoke. For strategy, as many of you have said today, we will be using YouTube ads because, as most of you know, most teens are constantly online. And we will also be using PR stunts with the founder of the organization, as Dylan had stated. We'll do public speaking at universities and high schools in the Playa del Rey, California community. All right. Specifically, these ads that we will be using reverse testimonials. We will be using mothers or parents of children, not necessarily young children, just their child. We will talk, the first ad will talk about a woman who had lost her son to a disease that no one can control. or a car accident, something that's accidental you couldn't have prevented no matter how hard you tried. The next ad will focus on an older mother who had lost her daughter because of an illness related to smoking. As Dylan had said, the campaign is called Death by Tobacco Isn't, and our slogan will be Death is inevitable, death by smoking is not. And we also plan to put their consequences onto others by saying that they may not care that they smoke, but how will it affect the families after they had decided to smoke and potentially die. So, Dylan is going to talk to you about the media we plan to use and finish off the presentation.
Like many of people you've heard from today, we have opted to utilize YouTube advertising as it is a humongously valuable resource in our modern world, particularly when targeting smokers. Can anyone think of a particular form of entertainment or media where you could reach smokers specifically? I couldn't. I don't think there's a smoking network. I don't think there's a tobacco enthusiast, network or anything of the sort. So inherently, tobacco users are a little bit hard to target. So in order to reach people who are more specifically within our range, we're going to utilize YouTube, which allows you to target people by age, by region, and by interest, though that can be a little bit challenging given our target audience. We're going to be utilizing YouTube in-stream ads, which are the video ads that play before, during, or after someone watches their entertainment on YouTube. And we will also be utilizing the PR stunts from utilizing the founder of the foundation to speak at several high schools and universities in the Playa del Rey area. Looking at the timeline, the speeches from the founder will take place in the early school year when students are first returning from their summer break, whereas the YouTube advertisements will be running starting from May and running until October over the course of 6 months in order to hit a large number of people over the course of a large amount of time. During the summer, where they are most likely to be unsupervised, out running about and trying new things. Budget. It's going to be relatively cheap, especially given the fact that we're targeting such a small area. In order to produce the advertisement, we would hire a production agency, which we've heard a few different estimates about what that can value at today, and depending on how big of an audience you're trying to reach and what kind of impact you're trying to have, it can vary greatly. But given that it's a fairly local effort, we can settle for a higher level but not absolutely premium advertising agency to produce ads that will be viewed by only people from a certain area for about $5,000. And in the YouTube system of advertising, people pay per view. So the set amount at $32,500 guarantees a set amount of people who will inevitably see the advertisement over the course of the 6 months. PR stunts, of course, come free, given that they're from the founder of the organization, who would do it out of the goodness of his heart. And the grand total for the end of this is $37,500. In order to evaluate the success of this campaign, we're going to analyze teen smoking trends. There are studies like this that occur regularly, and looking at them from 1 year to the next, or from 1 month to the next, we can analyze the statistics of teen smokers and see if the numbers have dropped over the course of our campaign. We'll also be utilizing calls to the Foundation for Smokefree America, as the advertisements will encourage individuals who are having trouble quitting themselves to do so. So by looking at the trends in teen smoking, hoping for a decrease, and watching for an increase in calls to the Foundation's hotline, we can determine whether or not our campaign is being successful.
Does anyone have any questions?
You guys' last presentation didn't convince you to just stop smoking, so did this convince you? No? Okay.
You're not targeting me.